My earliest memories are of the tropical landscape. I can't mistake them for any other time because I moved to New York when I was so young, which is obviously a very distinctly different geography. And there's certainly a nostalgia behind the imagery. In a way, I'm accessing my past memories by depicting these landscapes. There's an alien perspective, having been absent from my birthplace for such a long time, but still feeling connected to your roots. It's part of who I am. It's part of my childhood, part of my culture. I'm Jonny Negron. I'm a visual artist. I've been creative my whole life. I've been drawing since I was about 2 years old. A lot of my works are representations of the human condition, but they transcend that. They're archetypes. They're like a symbolic duality or an ambiguity. For example, a lot of my imagery of the feminine is rooted in more of a symbolic representation of the feminine itself, the mother or the creative aspect. I tried to let some aspects of the image up to chance. A lot of times it kind of reveals itself to me as I'm working on it. I think if you obsess too much over the image, even before you've begun the process of creating the piece, it just leads to this sense of dissatisfaction. Growing up from Puerto Rico, spent a long time surrounded by water. There's something very spiritual about water. My work touches on that. There's a literal representation of pollution in the Caribbean, but then also just like almost a spiritual kind of pollution that I think exists in this world where there's so much noise. The culture shock of moving from Puerto Rico to the US made me want to communicate in a way that transcended language. I was already learning how to speak, and I was told by my parents that when I moved here, I just stopped speaking. And I think that's when I began to draw. Art has the power to awaken ideas to the viewer. That's a transcendent power. I think that painting is a necessity of expression. I'm just trying to interpret the ideas behind the world that I'm in.